characterization of any of this?
Mr. President, Councillor Sanchez, the fact is that truck won't be built out till September, local equipment probably October, end of October at that, and that's if the factory can build it out in that time frame. Like I said earlier, engine companies perform limited ladder functions, and ladder functions are search and rescue, forcible entry, ventilation, and providing access, opening up ceilings and roofs. And so those, like I was saying in the beginning, those functions can be done by engine companies. This is not a crisis situation. The memo that I put out was for my firefighters. It wasn't intended for public consumption or be evaluated or picked apart. It was to explain what our plans were as a fire department, and that was to get a ladder company on the west side. I think the plan that is in place is a good plan. I think it's timely. I think it's appropriate. And I think with that said, when the truck arrives and the people are on that truck and the proper equipment is there, you'll have a fully functional ladder company. If you put an engine company and call it a ladder, it will not have the full capability of a full service ladder apparatus. It'll have an engine company with additional equipment on board.
Councillor Lewis.
I'll just say this one more time because I think it needs to be said, that there was an immediate crisis, an immediate plan that needed to be funded that you clearly stated was not funded in the budget. The plan was, the immediate plan was to take care of an immediate crisis and a deficiency that was not, this was maybe repeated by this council, but was used by the administration. This was clearly articulated, and maybe it wasn't expected to be for public consumption, but it was. It was clearly, it was in the paper. It was written about in the West Side Journal. I think there was news stories about it. It was there. This was communicated. And I'm a little concerned about, so what we did is we said, if this is what we need, then we're going to put a bill together that allocate, this is what the council does. We're going to, if there's a need and we feel like it's something that's important and it's certainly clearly articulated by you all, we're going to put together a bill to do it. I'm a little concerned that this money now is going to go to Station 2 and 7. Certainly, I guess I'm a little bit worried now that maybe this is not enough for Station 2 and 7. I think we did look at some other funding. We're actually pretty confident that we could find it for those. But I'm also a little concerned that maybe the rest of it's going to go to Station 2 and 7 also, and that maybe not any of this is going to go there to the west side. But that's my issue, my problem with this bill right now. But how much is a ladder truck? What's a ladder truck cost?
President Harris, Councillor Lewis, anywhere between $800,000 and $1 million, depending on what you put on it.
We almost gave you enough money here to buy a new ladder truck on top of the other ladder truck that we got on order for the Southwest Mesa. But just having a hard time with this bill based on that history there, and I certainly want to work together to to really make sure these dollars go to the right place.
Yeah, Councilor Gardenia.
Well, then I guess it begs the question: if we have a hard time going from point A to point B without all this machinations, would it be good to order a spare ladder truck?
President Harris, Councilor Garduño, we have one spare ladder truck at this time, and that's to fill in for the other 6 ladder trucks that we have out on the streets.
Well, then maybe a spare ladder truck. You get what I'm saying, is that when we come to the council and say, you know what, we have a real dire need, we say, okay, let's take care of it. And they say, well, it's a need, but it's not really a need, and we could cover it other ways. And what I'm asking is, let's be proactive and really cover the needs that we have, up to and including a second ladder truck that would suffice as not only spare, but maybe the ladder truck that's needed for the west side.
President Harris, Councilor Garduño, the greatest need we have is to rebuild Stations 2 and 7, and that they're adequately funded. That will allow for that ALS service to go in place where Station 2 is located, near the airport, and that will also better protect the UNM South Campus, the critical infrastructure of the airport, and the build-out of Station 7 will allow that ladder company to be placed in service. That is the public safety priority.
Councillor Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move a 2-week deferral on this issue.
I'm a little concerned about what I'm hearing. And Mr. Perry, I want to just sort of walk through what I understood the mechanics of this bill is that there was a desire to have these firefighters hired now, and there was a belief among some councilors that there was some, I guess, opposition to that, administrative resistance, and we came to sort of a compromise that, well, the administration really didn't want to take a pumper and call it a ladder, although, as the chief said, you can do that. If you just don't have a ladder on it, you can do most of the functions. So we'll go ahead, we'll get the class on board in February, a full big class, as much as we need, and then they'll be trained, they'll be ready to start in July. We'll put the truck in another bay with this new class, new firefighters, and then when the truck comes in, if it comes in November, if it comes in December, if it comes in September, whenever we get it ready, it's ready, but then everyone just moves over to the truck. I thought that's what we were going to do, and we were going to get the commitment from the administration to actually have the firefighters on July 1 hired and performing a ladder function, even though not with a ladder truck. So that's the commitment. Now, do we have that commitment?
Just a moment.
It's the intention of the chief and the administration to get that class to try to coincide with when the apparatus is here, or shortly before, for training purposes and the like. The time frame you suggested is fairly close to that. Obviously, it's about 2 weeks. You've got a 2-month gap from July to September.
Okay, thank you. There's been a motion second for 2-week deferral. All those in favor, please say yes. Yes. All those opposed? No. Raise your hand, yes. No. That 2-week deferral passes on a what? Is it a
7-2.
what? 7-2 vote.
And Mr. President, I just remind council that time's ticking on these particular projects. I'd sent out some memorandum about that before, and funding, because of the nature of the impact fees and things like that, time is of the essence.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.